guys.
Yeah. So Bernie's been coming after Amazon, and he's been tweeting out stuff like this. New data shows 1 in 3 Amazon employees in Arizona are on food stamps. It is completely unacceptable that ordinary Americans should be subsidizing the wealthiest people in the world, like Jeff Bezos, when they pay their employees such inadequate wages. So, in fact, he went on to say, Bernie says, Mr. Bezos, it is long past your start. If time for you to start to pay your workers a living wage and improve working conditions at Amazon warehouses all across the country. It is beyond absurd that you would make more money in 10 seconds that the median employee of Amazon makes in an entire year. Meanwhile, thousands of Amazon employees are forced to rely on food stamps, Medicaid, and public housing because their wages are too low. I don't believe that ordinary Americans should be subsidizing the wealthiest person in the world because you pay your employees inadequate wages. So that's exactly... So it's weird. Bernie and Tucker Carlson. Bernie and Tucker Carlson are the only people highlighting the problem of income inequality in America, and the biggest, the one who's the most emblematic of that would be Jeff Bezos, the richest man in the history of the world, while his workers are on relief, right? So they responded. So Amazon writes a blog. And they say Senator Sanders' allegations against our work conditions, pay, and benefits continue to be misleading and inaccurate. Here's our response.
See, that
really
employee
quickly,
is really happy.
Yeah, she's an elderly black woman. It's like, oh, really? I'm sure that
Look
you're
how much
working
fun.
full time and just totally able to pay for your family and rent and everything there. Looks great.
Hey, get those boxes in that truck.
Go, 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 go.
Okay.
Suffer the consequences if you don't do 1 second. Go,
Get
go,
that box.
go.
Oh, okay. Run. I'm going to zap you on the wrist. Oh, I got zapped.
Yeah, she has like a shock collar on. She's like, ah.
She starts dancing like Theresa May. So Amazon, here's part of their response. They wrote a blog, swear to God, they wrote a blog response. They go, instead, Senator Sanders continued to spread misleading statements about pay and benefits. Amazon is proud to have created over 130,000 new jobs last year alone. Yeah, 130 shitty jobs. In the U.S., the average hourly wage for a full-time associate in our fulfillment centers, including cash, stock, and incentive bonuses, is over $15 an hour before... Wait a minute. So he's not saying... So get this. They're not saying they pay them $15 an hour. They're saying after you factor in all this other shit that they have no control over...
Incentive bonuses.
Yeah.
So if you can run faster than a human.
Yeah, so...
These warehouses.
So we'll skip that. And it goes, so Amazon, in its rebuttal, trots out many of the same talking points it has in the past, sneakily inflating its average hourly wage with stock options that require 2 years to vest and incentive bonuses individual workers have no direct control over. Amazon says, we encourage anyone to compare our pay and benefits to other retailers. That's what they said in their response. Amazon said that. Response to Bernie. Well, Gizmodo goes, well, we did compare it. We compared it to its warehousing competitors. Amazon is the same or worse in terms of pay, with hard caps on raises and far more punishing in terms of the productivity it extracts from its workers. Where safety is concerned, Amazon was named among the most dangerous workplaces this year by the National Council of Occupational Safety and Health. So again, Amazon, instead of they're just lying, they're run by a narcissistic megalomaniac. And so they have to now fulfill his vision for the company, and this is what they're left to do. They have to now do PR about how horrible it is to work there, and what is PR? It's lying. So this is them gaslighting people, and Gizmodo's catching them. They're like, no, it's actually one of the worst places to work. And you don't actually make $15, you liar. You're trying to make people think they don't. Thousands of Amazon employees are forced to rely on food stamps, Medicaid, and public housing because their wages are too low, including 1 in 3 of its workers in Arizona and 2,400 of its workers in Pennsylvania and Ohio, according to the New Food Economy. Bottom line, the taxpayers of this country should not have to subsidize employees at a company owned by Mr. Bezos, who is worth $155 billion. That is absurd. On September 5th, This is Senator Sanders. We are going to introduce legislation to end the absurdity of middle-class taxpayers having to subsidize large, profitable corporations, many of which are owned by billionaires. If Amazon, Walmart, and other corporations won't pay their workers a living wage, our bill would establish a 100% tax equal to the amount of federal benefits received by their low-wage workers. The American taxpayers should not be subsidizing the richest people in the history so they can underpay their frickin' employees. And, Amazon, again, it's the Barbara Streisand effect. If you would be better to ignore Bernie Sanders' criticism because now headlines like this are being. This is the headline of the story. By the way, he gets to come back at you. You give him a platform. He now responds to you, and now I'm responding to his response from your response, and so now everybody's talking about it. It's the Streisand effect, and they're so stupid. So Bernie says, bottom line, no one working for the wealthiest person on earth should have to rely on food stamps. No one working for a man who earns $260 million a day.
Wow.
A day.
Wow.
Should be forced to sleep in their car. Do you see how but do you see how he's able to do that because of the political decisions? Because he's able to buy the politicians. They're captured. And so then they rewrite the rules to favor the guy with the most money, not to favor the people, because the people don't put them in office. It's the donors that do. Do you see how this works? And the rules, the way the free market is rigged, is how his guy's able to have. He's not supposed to be able to have a monopoly. There's antitrust laws on the books right now that should be enforced, but he's having it, and he's allowed to own the paper of note. He's allowed to own Amazon, which has 50% of every internet transaction in the United States goes through that one guy. You don't think that's dangerous? You don't think is that healthy for our economy to let one guy have so much control of our economy? The answer is no. So let me throw it over to my panel, Mike, Abby, Steph. Go ahead, take it away. What do you make of this dust up between Amazon and Bernie?
Bernie just killed it once again. I mean, don't fuck with Bernie because he's going to come at you with the facts and he's going to totally crush you. Another interesting point about Amazon is how many temporary workers they have. So we're talking about just the worker. They have more temps almost than any other tech company. Actually, they do have more temps than any other tech company. More than 15% of their warehouse workers are temporary, which make actually on average $3 less than other workers there. And then they can, arbitrarily be fired at the drop of a hat. They get zero benefits. So this is just another way to have literally an enslaved,
yes,
these
workers.
Are indentured servants.
Yeah, indentured servants. It's incredible.
Mike?
No, the thing that stands out to me is the $260 million a day. If people hear that Bezos is a billionaire, and when you hear $1 billion, you're just like, oh, $1 billion, that's a lot. But $1 billion is a million millions, right?
Yeah.
That's a lot of millions. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's hard to wrap your mind around the amount of money.
Yes.
So that helps you fathom it a little better when you realize that it's $250 million a day versus,
These people
$100
pay
billion.
no taxes.
Well, see, I like to hope that Bernie's point is to get them to start paying taxes.
Right.
Is he trying to set the table for, well, you know what, all this gross amount of profits that you're making on the backs of these working class people, start paying taxes. So what do you think? I say within a year, we're going to see legislation put out there about Amazon having to pay taxes. Anybody want to go ahead?
I don't think so.
You don't think so, really?
Well, it might just because Trump hates Amazon, but he hates them for the wrong reason, but I'll take it, right? So he wants to tax Amazon because he doesn't like Jeff Bezos and Jeff Bezos' ownership of the Washington Post and the way they're so negative on Trump. So that's why he wants to punish them. But he does actually then start telling truths about how Amazon has sweetheart deals. They get the Washington Post so he can get the tax benefits so he can influence. So that's Trump. It's just because he is who he is doesn't mean he can't tell the truth about Amazon when he is telling the truth about Amazon.
By the way, billions, 1,000 millions. My math is. I was thinking about the military budget, the $1 trillion military.
Okay,
budget.
so a billion is 1,000 million.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, not a million.
Not our military budget, $1 million millions.
Right. Thanks for watching. Please make sure you're subscribed. Even if you think you are, you're probably not. It only takes a second to check, and then you have to ring that bell so they send you a notification when we drop a new video. Otherwise, they won't tell you when we drop new videos. And if you like our show, please help support it. Become a patron. We give you hours of bonus material every week, and we give a live stream. We do a live stream every Saturday at 2 p.m. Pacific time when you could ask us questions and we answer them back. Thanks for your support.